Well, hello everybody. Cool, warm. Mother Nature's, I think, a little bit psycho and off her meds. 23 degrees a couple days ago. 33 when I woke up this morning. It's 65 now. Shucks. Love this time of year though. Got a new saw, new to me. Stihl MS250, red lever. Bought this in here for myself. Think we're gonna build it. Ain't sure if I'm gonna build a dyno first or build this saw. Been wanting a dyno for a year or so for chainsaws, and I think that might be the next thing. But we're gonna tear into it a little bit today and get a just run it just a little bit, see how it is. I live in a pretty small area, 467 square mile in my county. So for here, so that's a normal sized county. 14,000 people in the whole county. 4 stoplights in the whole county, and they're all within just a little bit of each other. So we ain't too big, but I know about everybody. Everybody knows about me pretty well. And I seen this saw on FaceWeb, I guess, where it was on Market Space. Wanted $150 for it, and I thought, well, for Stihl MS250, that ain't too bad. Went down there. He said he bought this saw since new. I got some concerns. I let the sheriff's office know. I give them, and I do that a lot. If I buy something from people I don't know, or I think, man, their story just doesn't add up 100%. And it may be true. I'm a suspicious kind of guy. But it come back, it's not stolen. So good. It's legitimate saw, so I had it here for a week or so. I was going to build it. I give him a little bit of time to work on it. Make sure the description didn't match nothing, serial number, nothing. So it's good. We'll take a look at it. First thing I'll know here, I'm going to take a bar off, get it out of the way. And yeah, I've already noticed it. Don't fit where the hoot right here on this. It's got the rim sprocket on it. It's got a 3/8 7-tooth rim sprocket on it. And it's got a 325 bar and chain on it. So, guys, if he's using it, and it looks to me like he's went at this bar and chain with a hatchet, I guess. I don't necessarily argue with making the oil port bigger. That's not a bad thing. But that's sure not a factory. That's not a steel slot in there. I'd say it was something else. Anyhow, it's the wrong gauge, wrong pitch. Looks like she's been out with a hatchet. Chain's in good shape. I noticed that right away. And matter of fact, the guy did too. He had a little bit of trouble starting it for me that day. And I've looked at it just a little bit. Didn't want to put any time into it till I made sure it wasn't stolen or nothing. I ain't into that. I'm not going to help somebody else out. Somebody's a victim of that, and if they wanted their saw back, I'd just be out the money I give him. He wanted $150 for it, and well, I seen the wrong bar on it. Asked him what he'd take. He said 100, so I give him $103 because I always carry $2 bills and $1 coins in my pocket. So one thing I did notice, he had a heck of a time, bear of a time getting it started. Matter of fact, he went around the corner for just a minute, and I know what he did. He primed it, and then he come back with it running. And I know it's running lean, but we're going to check it out, probably pull the exhaust off. Didn't have the air filter on there right. Now, if you guys are familiar with these, there's a lever right on the oil filter. Well, that's your choke. It closes that deal, and it's still not seated. It may be good enough to start, I don't know. We may have to do just a little bit of work on that to get it seated right. That choke lever is right here, seeing it. It's going to go up against this side and block that off. Make sure there's nothing in there holding it up. We're just kind of giving this all a little quick once over before we start it up. I got another saw here. That's an MS250. I ported it for a guy. And I took video of it in here the other day, but I didn't have the camera pointing low enough. You could see all the climbing ropes and everything else behind me, but you couldn't see what I was doing. And the old muffler, I had a stinger on it. He didn't do all that damage. But I had this stinger and this muffler. This guy won't mind me saying, but he'll tear up daggum rock pile with a feather duster. Anyhow, the stinger come off on him. It broke the front of that muffler out. So we welded one on with a bigger flange and actually put I hope you guys can see it, put a gusset in there right there to give that a little bit more support. He runs a little bit of a dull chain too, but when you rock that in, I'm assuming we've hit that against the log too many times. So we stiffened that up real good. I think it's a whole. We're gonna test run this one here too here in a minute. Yeah, make sure it don't need a tune. It shouldn't. It's the same style muffler. Gutted the muffler, put a stinger on it, pipe, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna look at this in here real quick. Now, I don't intend to pull the carb unless, well, I don't intend to unless I see problems. I can see the piston a little bit. There's just a hair bit of scoring on the intake, one place, or yeah, on the intake side of the piston. It's not bad. We'll pull the exhaust off of it. I've already noticed this here's going to be one of them saws where you got to drag out the whole toolbox. Because we've got a T27 here, and the other one's not. I don't know if it's metric or standard, but it's a hex, commonly called an Allen head or an Allen bolt. I don't know if that's the proper term or not. Kind of like calling an adjustable wrench crescent wrench. Ain't necessarily right. You guys can correct me or chew on my butt or tell me what a moron I am. Oh, there we go. Anyhow, it's six-sided socket head. I think that's what they call them, ain't it? Oh, you guys can put your nasty pins down to write something nice down there in the comments now. That was a little long too. Some of this I'm learning as I go too. I've said it before, I don't do anything big time, full time. Everything I do is just that's what I want to do, and then I end up doing some for other people. And I figure some of it you guys wouldn't mind to see, so I record some. Don't look too bad. I need to go plug in my air compressor. I'm gonna pause you guys here a minute. We got some compressed air now. Get that muffler off there. I don't know if there ever was anything or not, but if there was, it's been gutted. Spark arrestor screen's gone. Not that's a bad thing. But there's all she's got for outlets. I'd say when we go building this, especially, and I'm strongly considering it, especially if I do a dyno first, well, the piston looks good. And the back side of the bore looks good. Now, it may be wore out. I won't say it may not be wore out, but it looks good. It's not scarred up like a 10-cent watermelon. Don't know if you guys can see in there or not. We'll take a chance on it in case you can. There's maybe the back side of the bore. And there's the piston. It don't look bad. I think we're going to put this together and bring her out to the saw heat, or the log heat. This and that 250 both. And see if they'll tune and saw. May use them a little bit. I've got one MS250 there I need to work on. It's mine. It's run good all this time. I've used it a bunch. Power to weight ratio on them little fellers is just amazing. For doing little stuff, I like throwing it in the four-wheeler, go around whenever I'm doing fences, clearing out fences. Throw it in a tractor if I'm doing round hay fields or got stuff for a little saw man. It's handy. I went the other day to fire it up, and it seems like it's not pumping fuel now. It's starting to run, but it's running out of fuel just right quick. not running out as in it dies, but running out as in it ain't getting enough to be happy. So I was gonna fire it up and bring it for a spare for the owner of this saw. I was just gonna run this in here by his. I was gonna run mine by his house. Let him tear mine up for a while. Like I say, this 250 down here, it's warranty work essentially. I ported it last year. Pop-up piston in it. Done some pretty decent trenching in it. Didn't speed it up too much. Like I say, this guy's notorious, and he'll tell you himself he's bad for running dull chains and everything else. So I didn't want it too hot. Matter of fact, I wanted to get rid of heat. It's part of the reason I exhaust how it is. But anyhow, we're going to take these out and run them. Oh, where was I at? Yeah, I got that MS250 there I need to work on. That's going to be a fuel issue. I hope. It could be an air leak, but it's acting like it's probably a diaphragm issue. I've got an MS440 Magnum to build. It's a running saw. It's another one I got cheap. The guy wanted $10 for it running. I know him, and no, there's nothing wrong with it. And I give him more than that. I traded him some hay for it, and he'd bought it since new. I've known the guy forever. He was just mad at it. You want it? You can have it. What do you want? Give me $10. No, I'll give you more than that. But I want to build that 440 up a little bit. Yeah, the MS250 of mine, the MS2 or 440 of mine. This 026 is mine. I've got a 290 supposed to be in Wildwood. You better get down there in the comments and tell me something there if you're wanting that 290 built. Anyhow, hell, Molly. I got a few saws to build that are mine, so I'm not in a terrible hurry for them, because each one of them, that 250 is just going to have to be fixed, and I can't give you a before and after of it anyhow, because, well, I don't have it running stock. But I want to do, I think I'm going to build a dyno. I'm one of these guys that just cabbage stuff together in his head. You lay down, you go to sleep, and your mind won't shut off, and you keep building stuff in your head. Boy, I think I've built that dyno about 5 or 6 times in my head, and each time I build it just a little bit better, a little bit different. I think we can do it. I'm going to see if this 026 will start. Wait for that sucker to quit spinning here in a second. I gotta find my tuning screwdriver. Hold on, this is killing me. I know it needs to come out some, but I want to see where it was. There's a half. Oh, it's probably just a little bit short of 3/4 out. I think we're going to give her about a quarter turn out and see where we're at. That was on the high jet. Low jet says, low jet didn't seem bad. Yeah, it's right at a turn out. It didn't seem bad. I think we're going to bar this in here up. I didn't have very many choices here. I had with the sprockets I had on hand, I had a choice between a 325 8-pin and 3/8/7, and I got a good 325 bar that'll fit it, or a 3/8. So yeah, for now we'll just run this 3/8. I don't know how sharp the chain is. I got a Holtzform bar for it as a spare. I like having spare bars around because I'm not a professional. I'll stick a saw in the wood, especially cutting blowdowns. You think, well, it's resting on the root wad. Well, no, it's not. So the tension ain't where you thought it was. So instead of carrying, and I still carry a couple saws, but back when I just had a saw or two, I wouldn't worry about carrying an extra bar and saw to the woods, or saw to the woods, but I'd carry me an extra bar. And if I stuck a saw, well, I'd just unbolt the power head right quick and bolt in on another bar and hopefully cut myself out. Hopefully not have a log looking like a porcupine by the time I was done with it. Oh, get around there, little doggy. Get around there, little doggy. Alright. But I think we're going to bar this up, try it, and tune on it. We'll get a little bit of sawing in today, not too much. Sold a load of firewood yesterday, I guess. So I need to start getting some more cut. I ain't even started on mine from this winter. It's what I got out there. Of course, I've been having a fire, but no, I ain't started on building it yet. Would, I should have been. Got all Dad's cut, and then got sidetracked and actually got to cut him some more. That's where that skidding video come from here the other day. Was skidding his next year's logs up. But we're going to go out and just saw a couple pieces here today. Just see how they run. See if they're worth building. See if I notice anything else essentially bad that you're like, hey, it's going to need this or it's going to need that. We'll get ordering some parts for this thing. That's another reason I think I want a dyno. Let's say I tear this saw down and decide it needs this or it needs that, or I don't get right back to it for a week or 2 weeks or 6 months. Well, unless I can go back out and get the exact same log to cut a cookie off of and time it, and even if I could theoretically take all the human error out of pushing on the saw just right or change the same excuse me, daggum hiccups, even if change the same tension and everything else, there's human error in there, and I'm not knocking it. That's a good way as any to tell if you're making gains. But I'd kind of like to know how much. Or if I put a saw down and maybe I was cutting cookies off this log and I had me some base times recorded if I don't lose the recording, and then I go back out to it and I've already cut that rest of that log up, I'd have sat there in the sun and dried out for another 2 months. Well, it ain't gonna cut the same as it did whenever I first started. You guys know where I'm going with that. Just play along with me. I'm trying to talk myself into building a dyno and trying to make myself believe some reasons that I need one. I don't need one, I just want one. But I've got to justify it. You guys have that. And I got to get all my argument in order. That way when I go tell the wife, hey, I need this and I need that, and she asked me what for, well, I don't want to be standing there staring at her like a monkey doing a math problem. I want to just come right back and say, well, I just got to have that. Do too. And then have your stuff lined out. So if you guys come up with any other reasons I ought to have a dyno and ought to build one, and of course, yeah, I'm trying to grow the channel and I think it'd be neat on there, but I want one regardless. I wanted a dyno long before I ever started veg-recording this. Anyhow, I'll quit bumping my gums. We're going to get these loaded up. Let's go out to the wood pile, see what these two saws will do. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about building a dyno. Get in there and comment on everything. Anything. It'd help me out. Get the ball rolling. Yeah, I don't know. I'll quit complaining and whining. And it's election time. You guys are hearing all the complaints and the vote for me and vote for this. And you'll be tired of that by coming up here pretty soon. So I'll just leave you out of the like and subscribe business. Won't even mention it. Won't hear nothing out of me. We're going to do a test cut or two of this. Make sure it'll pull. It's one of them I ported last year. Had to redo the muffler. Like I said, I ported it last year. I still never looked up the timing numbers. Got a pop-up piston, got quite a bit of work inside the cylinder. I'd say she's plenty fat. She hit on the first pull. This here's oak, burr oak. This here piece with no bark, that's the old piece of dead ash, hardest $40 crowbar. So we're gonna try the old 026. It'll probably need some adjusting on it, but we're gonna try it. That choke's still gonna need a little bit of love, I think. working on them. They got to idle and they got to restart. I think here's going to be a good candidate for a rebuild. It idles okay now. I think it's going to be a good candidate for a rebuild. I'll quit. I'll take out my earplugs. Quit hollering at you. I've never run a 260, but it seems a little weak to me. I've got a 270, which is close to same horsepower, I think, rating, and close in cc's. But this is a better grade of saw than the 270. So this one seems weak. Of course, I'm running a 3/8 on this. I run a 325 on my 370. But I think this here's going to be a good candidate for a rebuild. Tell me what you guys think about my dyno idea. I'm thinking take a week or so. I can build it before I build these. Then I can dyno this one to see what the gains are. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Tell me what you guys are thinking. Appreciate it.